podcast etiquette.
I guess so. All right. Well,
last night we had the Hawks playing last night, so Detroit
during your podcast. Yeah, sure. You're listening to Toast Dispatch Radio here. We are joined by Kurt Price, the host of Let's Go Blues Radio, and also Nick, my partner here with me.
Nick, you better come on. Kurt Price has got a lot more going on than that. It's not just Kurt Price. Tell us everything about Kurt Price.
We need to get Tom Calhoun on here, and he can just announce all of our guests as they come onto the show.
Hey, you contact him. He's a nice guy. You might do it.
Yeah, I heard you guys did an interview with him, right?
We did, and the interview itself went great, but we had some audio issues, and there was some feedback that I wasn't aware of until after the show, and really couldn't use it. So, but process. So, if you listen to the live show, it was probably okay, but the recording was not so good.
Live and learn.
Yeah, we had an interview with Charlie Marlowe, and we had something similar happen. We had
he couldn't hear a word we were saying.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard it. I heard the show.
Okay.
Wow. Hey, we got a question to ask you. Are you online right now? Are you in front of a computer?
Me?
Yeah.
He's on our Google Hangouts. I think he's got to be on.
Is that a trick question? I was kind of implied.
Oh man, I can't catch anybody today. Okay, well then, since you are now, if you go to the St. Louis Blues account or Twitter account,
you're thinking the hashtag, right?
Hashtag St. Louis Blues. If you go there, we're curious because we want to know if you can see what we see, which is if you go under top instead of live and you just go straight to top under hashtag St. Louis Blues and you scroll down right after you pass that guy that was in the movie The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. He was ugly.
I have no idea what you're talking about. On the Blues Twitter?
Oh, yeah, Twitter. Yeah, hashtag St. Louis Blues.
No, you're thinking of hashtag STL Blues.
What did I just say?
You said St. Louis Blues.
Okay, yeah, STL Blues.
So go to the Twitter account, right?
Yeah, you use that, right? You go there and follow the game.
You mean the hashtag STL Blues or their Twitter accounts?
You're right. So I get
mixed up. Their Twitter account's saying ST Louis Blues.
Yeah, well, no, it's hashtag STL Blues.
I follow that in TweetDeck.
Yeah, so if you go to you got top and you've got live, right? Well, if you go to top and then you see The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, and the Ugly was Tom Stillman there. And you scroll down a little farther, and what do you see? Do you see something that says accounts? And do you see next to Louis STL Blues? Do you see Toast Dispatch, or do you see your account there?
Hold on, I'm getting all kinds of. Well, 1 second. Oh my God, this is driving me nuts.
Did something break again?
No,
my mixer.
I'm trying to pull it up. Okay, because I think we're looking at different stuff.
Well, let's see now. Twitter hashtag STL.
So
Blues.
I'm on the Blues Twitter page. Okay.
Are you on the St. Louis Blues Twitter page or the hashtag STL Blues? Because I'm
on twitter.com/St. Louis Blues.
Oh yeah, we're at the. If you go into the search bar and you just put in hashtag STL Blues, I'm sure you know that, but if you type that in, we use that a lot just to see what everybody's saying, and we, you know how it is. It's always hashtag when you send out a tweet.
Okay, I thought you meant I use TweetDeck, follow numerous different things at one time, and I have STL Blues in my columns. But I see the Stillman video. Okay.
And then you got the Good, Bad, and the Ugly joke now. Okay,
you're really forcing that one.
That was a good movie, Clint Eastwood. Okay, so you scroll down, and we're just curious. When you scroll down a little bit, like 4 or 5 tweets down, you pass the Hawks one, and then you see accounts. And on the far right, you see Louis STL Blues, the official Twitter page. You see a little, it's about 3 tweets down. And I was curious, what's to the left of that? Is that have your information, or does it say Toast Dispatch?
4 or 5 posts down, I don't see anything except there's nothing in the right or left column.
Yeah, he's using an app, so it's probably different.
No.
It's different.
No, I'm in a browser.
Gotcha.
Okay,
browser.
On mine, it shows Stillman at the top, and then the next one down says KMOX Sports. The next one down says Hitch His Hat.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one's Andrew Alsman, and then the next one down says accounts.
Yeah. Okay. I see it.
You see Louis on the right.
I do.
And then who's on the left?
Greg Johnson.
Greg Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
It might be a little
on
different.
Ours, we'll see on ours it shows Toast Dispatch. It shows it on Nick's computer. On my computer, it says Toast Dispatch. And Nick said, he goes, look, they're promoting us. And I said, well, maybe. I don't think so, though.
It might be relevant to who. Let me see if there's a view all. Let's see.
Oh, there is a view all. There is. Yeah, view all.
And let me see if you guys are on there.
Yeah, so it must have something to do with who they think you'd want to know.
Yeah, it's got to be some kind of.
I guess they figure we want to know ourselves better.
I'm seeing Luke Korik here just sent out. Oh boy. Well. Yeah, I'm seeing Luke Korik here just put out the lines. We got Steen, Laterra, Tarasenko, Payarvi, Stasny, and Brouwer. Schwartz, Berglund, and Yashkin. The fourth line is Upshaw, Brodziak, and Reeves. So no Fabry back yet.
No Fabry, but Bouwmeester is playing.
That's good news, definitely.
I'm okay with that because my take on tonight's game is the Hawks are going to do just like, if I remember correctly, was it this time last year? Tarasenko, about 6 games left in the season. We went into Chicago. Two-handed vicious slash. Something happened to him. Took him out, right?
I remember Nashville slashing him.
Or was that 2 years ago?
Chicago slashing him.
No.
Was
it
Nashville? When he got slashed, that was before we played Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Was it not? Was it not?
I thought it was. I thought he got hurt in Chicago, but maybe it was. But all I'm thinking is that Chicago doesn't care about this game. They know what's happened the last 2 years when we had home ice advantage, or not last 2, but I mean.
Well, Chicago still has an outside chance to win the division. If they win out and Dallas loses out, then they can potentially take the division.
Yeah,
they would. As long as they didn't win their 2 games in a shootout, because then they wouldn't get their ROW because they're tied in ROW right now.
True.
So the second tiebreak is, I think, goals scored, which would probably go to Dallas. So I think Chicago would have to, not get to one of those wins in overtime. Or
got to get regulation and overtime wins.
Yep.
I'm just picturing the Hawks basically saying, "Look, let's get as healthy as we can get. Let's get ready for the playoffs. Whoever we play, we're the we're the Cup champs. We're the guys to beat." And I just think that's how they're approaching this game. And if we win, great, but all we have to do is lose one home game and home ice advantage is gone. It's all going to come down to having to win game 5 or 6, and we haven't done that in 3 straight years. We haven't won game 5 coming back to St. Louis all 3 times we lost.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Chicago's approach to this game, I've talked with some Hawk fans and they don't seem to care about this game. I'm sure they want to win, but I don't think they really care.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
One of the Hawk fans on our forum was expecting the Hawks to sit quite a few guys today, but I don't think that's the case because they already have 5 guys injured, so they can't sit too many. So we'll see. I mean, maintenance days. I mean, they probably could play. Some of them could play if it's playoffs, but they said Crawford may play on Saturday. So, I think they're just being cautious with their guys. Which I think the Blues are being cautious with Backes right now. Same kind of thing.
Well, on that front with Crawford, I think that I think every team when they start the playoffs, everybody that can crawl onto the ice is there. But are they 100%? No. Are they going to say they're not 100%? They're not going to even mention it. They're going to say, "Hey, these guys are ready to go," and they might be at 80% or 70%. And I think Crawford is probably still suffering a little bit of he's still concussed on some level and he's not 100%. And I'm hoping, when regardless, gosh, has he even played in the last 3 weeks at all?
Well, it's been a couple, maybe 10 games, I want to say now they've been out with Crawford.
So this is his first game back?
No. Crawford's not back yet. We've got Darling in net against us.
But they're just saying Crawford will start in the playoffs.
He said Quinville said he may start on Saturday.
Yeah,
but that's you never know.
Yeah, and I just think that that's what they do. I think when the playoffs come, and I don't really even fully agree with it. I mean, I guess you just got to go with your best guys, regardless if they're 70%, 80, 90, or 100, or 90, 80, 70 or less, but percent, healthy. But I think a lot of times these guys get in there and they just. I think last year the Blues did that, right? Nick Oshie and Backes, they were both
right. Everybody comes back, but I think it comes down to: do I want David Backes back at maybe 80 or 85%, or do I want Payarvi back at 100%? And it's Backes. Like every day, yeah, I take Backes every day.
We're going. All 3 of us went 35% Backes, 30, 25, 20.
He could
take 6% Backes over Payarvi.
He could be a head on a stick, and I would take him over Payarvi at this point.
He's just a bobblehead on skates.
A bobblehead.
We'll push him out in the ice. He scores! Well, they're interviewing Shat and Kirk before the game, and he's hiding that bald head of his still. I want him to come out. I want him to come out of the closet and let it just take that hat off and let everybody know he doesn't have hair, because he doesn't have any more hair unless he got a rug put on.
Yeah, he is. That's unfortunate for him. I don't feel too sorry for him, but the hair thing is can't be something he's very proud of.
Yeah, definitely. I know he gets mad. There's some players that try to knock his helmet off if they're in a scrum or something. He doesn't like that. I've seen it happen a couple times. He'll shove for the helmet, show the bald spot. Korak just tweeted out here, I wouldn't be too concerned about Fabry. This looks purely like precaution. He's skated well these past few days, and he'll be ready. So that's some good news on that front.
Right, I think they're hiding him.
That's what they've been saying about him, that he's close. He's been skating. He looks good. Yeah, there's no reason to wish him back. I mean, if you want to get him in a game before the end of the season, I don't know. Steen proved that you don't really necessarily. He missed a bunch of games, came back, didn't seem to miss a beat.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Fabry hasn't been out that long, so I think he'll be fine.
Hey, what's your take on Fedorko? When him and Pat Paris, that combination, what's your perception of that whole thing?
Good, you know, bad? I'm not a as a player, love Fedorko. But as a broadcaster and I think he's better in the studio than he is, as a color guy.
In between period guy.
In between period guy, he's better. I did not like him at all as a color guy. In between the benches, he was okay. I didn't mind him so much down there, but I think Fedorko, he says a lot without saying a lot. He says a lot. He says a lot of words, but doesn't actually say a whole lot with his words.
His cadence is very interesting too. It's kind of like a dog barking that won't stop. And Pat Paris just sits there and just stares off into infinity, and with his hands folded and cut with a half smile. And because once he finishes his 3 words that he gets to get out, then Bernie goes and launches 3, 2, 1, and Bernie starts talking. And he's good though. But
he's he's a little too much of a homer for me. I expect a certain amount of homerism with the home broadcast team and everything. Right. I get that, and I want that, but I think he goes over the top a lot of times with his analysis, which maybe some people like that. It's not my cup of tea, but I'd rather get a little more honest and accurate analysis as opposed to over the top, the homer call.
Mm-hmm.
You just made me think of when I was a kid. I was a little kid, and the first time I heard that homer, my dad said that to me. He said, "Well, who's going to win?" I said, "Cardinals." And he said, "Oh, you're a homer, huh?" And I'm like,
I remember encouragement for you cheering for the home team. Just, that's a homer pick.
I know. Well, I was like, well, what else am I supposed to be?
Am I rooting for the other team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a gambler's perspective is the problem with that. He liked to gamble. And so that was, that's when when you gamble, you're no longer ever a homer.
I think being a fan of your team, I wouldn't say is being a homer necessarily. I think if you're saying that your team's going to win when the odds are stacked against them, maybe that's being a homer. Rooting for your team. That's just rooting for your team, I think.
I just pulled out Webster, and I'm looking under homer, and it says Bernie Fedorko announcing Blues game in between periods. I don't like it. I don't like it when he. I don't like anybody. Matter of fact, who doesn't like Elliott?
You haven't had any. I likes this game.
Yeah, I know, but I don't like anybody that doesn't like Brian Elliott. I've been pumping his tires and tooting his horn for 4 years now, and I feel like Bernie doesn't. He's him and Panger. They're leaning towards Allen, and I'm glad that all the stats and everything else, and hopefully a couple rounds of Blues victories with him in between the pipes will shut them up for good.
You see, it's all. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that there are some groups online that are anti-Elliott for some reason. It's mind-boggling. I can understand preferring Allen to Elliott maybe for whatever reason. You may have your reasons, but to be anti-Elliott, and basically almost anyone but Elliott camp, which some people are, is very strange to me. Mm-hmm. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, just think. It's a little bit of a cult thing. They're the Allenites. They used to be the Halakanites, and they migrated over into the Allenite
the way
compound.
I see it is everybody gets their own opinion, and they're all legally entitled to that. But yeah, not legally, but they're legally entitled to have their opinion. We'll put it that way. And so, but what gets me nuts is that when they start pulling up all this old stuff, like, oh, Elliott's streaky, and it's like he had the whole team had a bad series 3 years ago,
like 2 years ago.
Call him streaky from that. But they dig up all these stats to say, oh, he's bad, he's no good. But then when you look at the stats, he's been leading the league in goals against average and save percentage for like the better part of the second half of the season.
3 years.
Yeah, and if you go back over the last 3 years, he actually leads, I think, in both of them. Over that 3-year span, he's number one in the NHL.
And certainly to some degree, that's a reflection of a Hitchcock defensive team, quality shots. But, Nick, you pulled up a really cool stat about 30 minutes ago.
Relative save percentage?
Yeah, was it a Corsi thing or not a Corsi?
It wasn't Corsi. It was relative save percentage, which is calculated here.
Let's see it.
By expected save percentage, which that in the first place is calculated by taking, I believe, the shots that they take the area they were shot from, and says, okay, on average, a goalie will stop that. And they add all those shots up, and that's to get the relative save percentage, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Yeah.
But then they add that
to the high quality scoring chances, right?
Yes, it's that versus actual save percentage. And then we get the relative save percentage. And that's a measure of goaltender performance above replacement level, basically WAR for baseball. And
there'll be a test on this later on.
Yeah, we're gonna be asking you all about this, Kurt. Pay attention.
well, let's just hear the numbers. Just wow us with the numbers. Let's hear the numbers.
I can't read the chart. No.
You can't read the chart. Oh well.
Yeah,
it's not a very good chart then.
Yeah, no, you got just a little bit over 6%, which I guess 0.600 then for inner relative save percentage on the inner slot for Elliott, and it's just over 200 on the high quality shots for Allen. So basically, Elliott stopping the more high quality shots is what this stat is trying to say.
You know, I mean, the people that you mentioned before about folks saying that Elliott goes through, oh, he has rough stretches, he has bad stretches. Show me a goalie that doesn't have rough stretches during a season.
Thank you.
Every goalie has them. If you don't have a rough stretch during a season, then you're winning the Vezina.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even then, rough stretches.
So, I mean, look at Henrik Lundqvist. I mean, he has some bad days in New York, I'm sure, but they don't go, oh, well, I guess we better go with Talbot now or whoever their backup is these days, just because Lundqvist had a bad game or two.
And rough stretches, too, are just for a goalie, sometimes can be certainly, if you broke it down into percentages as to who's responsible for the ultimate goal going in, I mean, ultimately it's the goalie, but I mean, if the team's flat, if the team's on a back-to-back game, I don't know. If there's lots of things going on where the teams just are, they're playing high-quality competition and they're getting some quality shots from all over the place. And I mean, I just don't think you can ever measure how a goalie's truly doing by just simply goals against and save percentage in a small little 5-game period, because there's going to be lots of factors.
Yeah, no, I mean, goals against average and save percentage is a team stat. It's your defense in front of you and how well the forwards back check, and the quality of shots that they get. I mean, these are if the shot quality is down, then the save percentage is going to go up. So I mean, those stats are fine to look at for general use, but if you want to really get to see how good a goaltender is, you got to watch him play. You can look at all the stats in the world. You got to watch the guy play. And
good call.
Anybody who tells me that Allen should start over Elliott, or Elliott's not a top 5 goalie in the league this year, they haven't watched him play. They just have not watched him play.
Yeah, good call. Are you getting the same? It sounds like the audio is going bad or something. Are you hearing that, Nick?
I think it's just Google Hangouts a little bit, so not again, the quality
it's like
drops
the
stream.
bandwidth or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Is it by design that you've got? Are you both on mic?
We're both on separate mics. Yeah.
Okay. Are you? Do you have it by design that you're on screen the whole time?
Yeah. I know I'm on screen.
Okay. I didn't know if you had that by design or not. Because I made the mistake last night. I clicked on my window to show the guys something in the Hangout, and I forgot it was on, and I was on screen for most of the time during the show. So.
Okay, gotcha.
You've picked your nose 3 times. We're counting.
Yeah. Yeah, what I'm doing is I'm running both the mics into a mixer, and then the mixer's going to the computer, and then it's just going through one stream then. So that's why you're not seeing a photo of him too.
But you're starting to break up a little bit. The audio was 100% clear. Yeah, but Nick says he thinks it might be just the Google Hangouts, not something on your end. But I just thought there was a possibility maybe a battery on something was going, or that was even possible.
Does that sound any better?
That sounds a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. If for whatever reason, sometimes it gets if it gets choppy or something, I go into the settings and I switch it off voice to studio and then back to voice, and it corrects it for whatever reason. There's a tip for you.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind for sure. Royals looks like they just gave out their World Series rings from their championship.
Man, they look nice.
They look like nice rings. I got a photo of them here from MLB, but they spent a ton of money on these.
How much?
Well, each ring individually is $23,700, what they were estimated at, and they gave out over 700 rings in total.
700 rings to who?
700 rings. They gave out some to the players. Those guys got the best rings. The executive staff as well. Then they gave up B quality rings to the full-time employees, and then they even gave rings to part-time employees. So basically, everybody in the entire Royals organization got a ring of some value.
Is that like $750,000? Give or take?
They said estimated cost was in the millions.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a crazy amount of money just spent just celebrating your World Series win, not even getting
22,000 per ring.
Yeah, 27,000.
But there were three different three tiers.
There were three tiers. Yeah, the nicest ones, which they said there was about 80 of them, was 23,000 each.
Jeez.
Hey, Ken's looking relaxed on TV.
That sounds like a waste of money.
I know, right?
That is an ungodly just amount of waste of money.
They could have spent that re-signing Ben Zobrist and not letting him go to the Cubs.
I'm picturing the janitor getting beat up in the alley right now somewhere for his $10,000 ring.
There you go, right? He gets home to his wife. He's like, "Hey, that cost more than my wedding ring."
Yeah.
We're gonna do a couple hot takes here. I think we're gonna pull up Twitter, and we're just gonna make fun of what people are saying for just a couple minutes to kill some time here. You up for that, Kurt?
I'm up for. Yeah, you could do Facebook too. Holy cow!
There you go.
I am horrible.
That's probably more more stuff there to make fun of, but things people say, right?
Yeah, the things people say. Well, and you get your casual fans online, or you're mixed in with the hardcore fans, and you're reading and you see, oh, that's good comment. Wow, that's a horrible comment. Oh, it's another bad one. And you just don't know how, you don't know the level of fan that people are, and you expect, sure. I guess, maybe you expect more, but you don't get that all the time, so it's funny.
Hey, yeah. Kurt, Nick doesn't want to do this tonight, but I wanted to just go back live on Toast Dispatch Radio in between periods. And would you want to come back on? We can talk to in
about 5 minutes, I have to go put my kids to bed, and I'll be watching the game on delay by about a half an hour. So I'm not sure I'll be back up at live TV by then, but maybe between the second and third, if I'm back.
Is that TiVo?
It's DirecTV DVR, not TiVo.
Oh, okay.
I don't have I used to have TiVo, loved it.
Yeah, so okay, you got a big plan going on then. Yeah, we could this could still work. If you come on, we just won't say anything. We promise.
If he comes on, we won't say anything. Is that how this works now?
We'll be like, ah! Oh, I just dropped something on my foot. Oh, there's Bernie. Bernie's got a weird suit on too. He's trying to. He's shopping at Frontenac or something.
He needs to start doing like the Don Cherry suits.
Yeah, I don't think Federico could pull that off. But
hey,
did you, Kurt, hear about the Blues saying that, hey, they had a great idea, which I thought was a pretty cool idea. They were saying, let's go ahead, like in the old days, in the late 60s and through the early 70s, everybody would stand, and without the help of Sir Charles, or what's the guy's name?
Charles Glenn.
Yeah, Charles. Yeah, Glenn. Without his help, they would stand and sing, when the Blues come marching in.
When the team entered the ice, they said, right?
Yeah, when the team would come through and start to get on the ice, everybody would sing that song and clap. And and the Blues were saying on their site, they were saying, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we started doing that again? So what do you think? Would that be pretty neat?
It'd be cool. I mean, I think they want to, the way they worded it on their site, they almost want to make it a thing again.
Yeah,
which would be cool. It'd be cool. I mean, I'd like that. They're going to do it on Saturday when Washington comes to town, and so that's cool. We actually had that on the agenda to talk about on the show last night. We ran out of time because we had Adam Gold on. No, it was a long interview, and so that we had to cut some stuff out. But yeah, that's I'd like to see that see him try that. I'm sure the fans will get behind it and do it. I mean, if the fans can get behind the stupid power play dance,
Yeah, if they can make that a thing.
I'm sure they can get behind this again. I mean,
it's just 4 lines too. I hope we don't have to put it on the jumbotron.
You know they will.
They will, and they'll play I'm sure the organ will kick in behind them, and
Jeremy.
Hey, if Jeremy Boyer can belt it out, the rest of us better be singing, right?
Well, if I just think that if they're gonna do this, then they can't have Glenn belting it out, because when Glenn's belting it out, everybody's like, I don't sound like Glenn. I don't want to sing. And so, but if he doesn't, I don't know how they do it then. How do they take Glenn out of the picture and let everybody sing? If everybody sings, I think it would be, there's some spontaneity there. But if Glenn's in there belting it out and we're supposed to be singing with him, you won't even hear yourself. So I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? I was at the game on Monday against Arizona, and I was just watching Glenn Charles do his thing, or Glenn Charles do his thing, with when the Blues come rushing in, and I don't like his version. He's a great singer. I like him, but I don't like his version of that song. He's kind of all over the place with it. It's not with the music, and I was like, it just didn't sound right. I didn't like it. So he's trying to do too much with it. I don't know. I'm not a
cool to hear him sing it, but he does do his own thing with it. I know what you're saying there.
He does. He's like all over the place, and he's like adding extra words, and
we're calling you out on the carpet on that one, Scott. Kurt, we want you to you're gonna have to sing one verse at least. Let's hear your version of it then. You don't like it. Come on now. Let's see. Let's pretend you were singing to the kids to put them to bed tonight.
The lens on the webcam would crack, and we'd go off there. You'd see the Indian head off the station for the night on the screen.
My eyes explode.
He hits the notes that great is what he's saying. He'd crack the glass on his computer screen. So we're gonna save his computer.
Now, Nick will tell you this. Who used to read to you, Nick? Come on.
You?
Yeah, me and Mom. We used to read to him, and we read to our kids every night. That's so cool you're doing that, because that goes way too quick, but it's something awful fun to do.
Oh yeah, we do it every night.
So now you don't read. What do you read? Like the Wall Street Journal, or?
Yeah, like my parents didn't read me the Wall Street Journal, so I didn't become a very savvy businessman.
The Wall Street Journal does not have pictures. So,
that was good.
So we go with USA Today. Lots of pictures, lots of color.
That's good.
It's like the third. USA Today is like a third grade reading level anyway. So that's
simple words.
This fits, and it's all fiction.
Large font.
And all fiction. So
all fiction.
Oh, that works out pretty good.
It's all made up. Yeah.
I know STL Today redid their website. And do you use an ad blocker, Kurt?
I don't.
I don't.
Okay. Send him one over.
I used to, and I don't. I'm kind of anti-ad blocker now for a couple of reasons. But I understand that.
Sure. I whitelist the sites that I like, but other sites that are too heavy with it, I do blacklist them.
I mean, you know what? If you're going to be a site, and the STL Today does this, they overdo it with the ads. It's crazy. I mean, you got to answer a survey to read a story, and you got column ads, and you close that, and you pop up ads, you close that, and it's got a drop down thing to push the screen down. You're like, good God, get out of my.
They knock on your door. They knock on your door when that's all done. You hear a knock on your door.
Exactly. Yeah. You're visiting our site. We'd like to get your opinion on this. No,
get out of here. Leave me alone. I'm waiting for their heads to come out of like the toilet. Get out of here.
I do like the new design though. Much better than the old one. It's nice. But they do screw it up with all the ads. I get you got to pay for stuff. I get that, but it's just it's overwhelming, and it really turns you off.
Hey, I just realized when I got overexcited there and yelled, everybody's got headsets on? How did that? Are you okay on your end? Kurt, you still with us? So that's not too loud when I do that?
He's got you on mute anyway.
Okay. He's got my left speaker out. Okay, well, what's the score of tonight's game? What's everybody thinking? Kurt, you're up first.
Oh gosh. I'm gonna say the Blues continue the 5-goal trend. I'm gonna say Blues 5, Hawks 3.
That's logical. That sounds pretty good. You, Nick?
I'm going 3-2 in overtime.
Do you want an exciting
game-winning goal by Tarasenko? That's my homer pick, by the way.
I think that the high number is probably right. I think there's going to be some goals scored, because I think there's going to be a little bit of room on the ice, because I think unless somebody ticks somebody off, I think everybody's going to play a little cautious.
Could be.
Unless Quinville's got the dogs out and he's trying to take somebody out. He wants to take one or two guys, and there's a target on somebody's back, like Tarasenko or somebody. Then that game could get ugly and rough. And well, anyway, I'm going to go with 4-3 Hawks. Take that, Dad.
I'm who scares me more than, well, not more than Kane, but Kane scares me. Yeah, Panarin. That guy is fantastic.
I can't stand him.
I can't stand him. Yeah, exactly. I can't stand him because he's so good, and it sucks because he could have been had.
Yeah.
That's right.
By anybody, and they could have made a signing him as a free agent signing, and they and what sucks is that Tarasenko played with him. So I mean, they should have been. The Blues should have scouted him.
Yeah.
And Tarasenko. We
could have had Panarin, Laterra, and Tarasenko, all former Tarasenko teammates from the KHL.
Yeah.
How perfect would that have been?
It would have been nice.
Game's about to start, I guess. And then one last thing. How do you feel about the playoffs coming up? Blues play in Chicago, I'm sure.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, the past few years I've been cautiously optimistic. This year, for most of the season, I have not been optimistic because of our goal scoring. That's what killed us in the playoffs last year and the past couple of years, timely goals. And we're just bad offensively most of the season, even though we're winning and getting points. Sure. Our offense was not what it needed to be, and we didn't make a move at the deadline to get more offense. And I thought, I was down. I was really down because this is the best our offense is going to be the rest of the year. And then we got some guys back, and all of a sudden we exploded. And now we're the second highest goal scoring team in the league since the trade deadline. So it's like so I'm pleasantly surprised with the way the team is moving and the way they're playing. Not just putting a puck in the net; they're playing really well otherwise. So save for the first period on Monday against Arizona. But I'm confident in this team. Doesn't matter who they play. It's likely they play Chicago. They could play Minnesota, but if they beat out Dallas, but Chicago's hurting. I mean, they got some injuries too. Quinville did say everyone's going to be back by playoffs, just like Hitchcock said.
Yeah, and they all say that, I think.
Yeah. So I like the chances. I do like the Blues' chances much more now than I did like 2 months ago.
Yeah, for sure.
I even got so much confidence in them and their offense right now that I think, especially because that offense really exploded against some top teams with some games that meant something about a month ago when it started, a month and a half ago, or whatever. I think they can win it. I think they'll have home ice. They're going to go 6 games against the Hawks, and they'll win it in Chicago in that 6th game. We won't even come back to St. Louis. That's how confident I am in the offense. And I'm hoping the Hawks, even though sometimes, what's the phrase? They play like they're hurt. I mean, last year, didn't they enter the playoffs last year, Nick? And they pretended that they were, Quinville was like, Kane's out for 6 years. And then all of a sudden he was back to the playoffs. And
yeah, he had that shoulder problem.
Yeah, but it sounded like he was really hurt. And we're thinking, hey, they're hurt. We'll beat them up. And they really weren't hurt. Right. So I think that's a little bit of a ploy on his part. But let's see, where am I going with this? Well, bottom line is Blues in 6. That's my prediction for the playoffs. Over to Hawks.
I like it. Blues in whatever. 6 is a traditional guess, I guess, for a playoff series. I want to say 5, but that sounds like a homer pick to me.
Yeah, I'd have to say it'd be 6. I thought you were going to say 6 is a serious number, but that's Cardinals. So
I could have said that, but I did not. I did not go that route. I mean, 6 is good. I like that. But screw it. I'll go 5. All right. Homer. Why not? If we're scoring goals, we're winning games. So sure. That's the big thing. I think the defense. I think we're going to hold Chicago okay.
I think Ellie could surprise a lot of people and just shut down Chicago a couple games, and that'd be huge towards winning the series.
Yeah, I think defensively we'll be fine if we get the goaltending, which there's no reason why we shouldn't. And if we can score some goals, we'll win the series.
And I'm perfectly fine as far as goaltending goes with I want Elliott to start. I want him to play. If we lose 1 or 2 games, I'm fine with throwing Allen in there and just to see what he does, just to mix it up. And this is a small little intangible, but I think there's something to having 2 different goalies as a shooter. Chicago looking at the Blues and seeing 2 different goalies. They're not 2 different, totally different styles, but I think there could be an advantage to that. And I think that
so you're on the tandem train is what you're saying?
Yeah, but I mean, not just to mix it up, but I mean, I just think if if we win 3 straight, I mean, just keep going with Elliott. If we lose 1 with Elliott, keep going with Elliott. If we lose 2 straight with Elliott, I think throw Allen in. If he's 100%, throw him in and see what happens.
I think it depends on how Elliott plays. I want, this is the way I feel. I want Elliott to be the guy until he's playing badly. If they lose, that's not important to me as far as who should start in goal. It's how he plays. You know, if we lose 2-1 and he stops 36 out of 38, I think okay, he stays in net. I wouldn't start Elliott. I wouldn't start Allen at all unless Elliott looks bad for a couple games in a row, because you can't screw around and just keep going with a goalie who's not on it. And you start Allen a game, then maybe go back to Elliott, depending on how Allen does.
If
like
they're
Chicago did last year with Darling.
If they're both healthy, there's not going to be any off. I mean, this is my opinion, is that when they were both 100% healthy, they look so strong. So I don't think it's within them in this context to have a bad game. I mean, can you have a great shot and get beat? Yeah. Can you not? When it's 1-1, where you let that second goal in and get beat, it can happen. But I can't picture either one of them. I can't picture Allen doing what he did against Minnesota. He was so horrible. Oh my God.
Hey, you know what? He was, Allen was terrible the last couple games. He was really good the first 2-3 games.
Well, no, I disagree, but only because, and I apologize for interrupting, but it's just that there was a tone set in that series immediately. There was a tone set in that series in the first 3 minutes at home. Somebody came down and scored from the back line, from the red line, scored just almost like behind the net on a shot on Allen. It was a great little, it just squeezed through. It was a C&I single, but I mean, you couldn't let that goal in to start the series, and that set the whole tone. He let in 2 or 3 soft goals that broke the back of the team when they needed him to make the save, and not. I'm gonna disagree to a certain degree, because if you go back and look at his numbers, and I don't have them in front of me, but I recall that they were very, very good the first 2.5 games of the series. Oh yeah, I'm not going to say that.
I thought he started off the series good, but I thought he started off fine. But I thought that after that he kind of went downhill, and that was that one goal in, what was it, game 5? I was at game 5. The one bad goal in game 5 after the Blues took the lead 1-0, and the Blues could have taken they could have won the series? No, they could have taken a 3-1 lead. They could have won the series, I think. And Allen let a bad goal, and then it was like the team was deflated. And so that goal's on Allen, and he looked bad after that. So,
well, I know the first couple games statistically he did. If you looked at the stats, you could say it was great. But I just think that when it comes down to the playoffs, it's about. Let me back up and just say, when you let in a soft goal combined with the team was still at a point where really they weren't scoring. So anything that happened that shouldn't happen, or really is the timing was so bad and you couldn't let happen as a goalie. When it did happen and you let those soft goals in, there wasn't enough offense to recover from those kind of plays. Yeah. And I think that combined those two things, did him in, and Allen never should have started, but I'm still crying about that.
Yeah, whole year.
We've beaten this to death on our show. I'm an Elliott guy, but I was not against going with Allen because he was so hot down the stretch. That's the only. My joke on that is
this year. My joke on that was that Allen was that the quote was gonna be, Allen with one game, in the third period with 2 minutes left, got super hot. He was so hot they had to start him in the playoffs. And to me, big deal. He was hot for a week and a half. The bottom line was he was a rookie with no experience ever in the playoffs, and you put him on a team where they couldn't afford to let anything go wrong because they couldn't score. And for that reason, they needed L's, which at stat Nick was showing is something that I know without seeing the stat. You just know when you watch Elliott that what he does bring to the table right now is if everybody does their job on defense, he just stops everything. But Allen will make an incredible and spectacular save sometimes, one that maybe Elliott couldn't have made, but give him 30 of those shots that Elliott would stop. He might let one of those in soft. I don't know. far from.
And I've had that knock on Allen too. Allen can look fantastic, but then he'll have that odd goal that's like, what are you doing? It's like he's not paying attention, and that he hasn't had as much of that this season.
Oh no,
that was more last year. But there was earlier in the season he had a couple of those, and it was like, ugh. So and last season definitely, and in the playoffs last year. So I agree with you there. Elliott is the much more consistent goalie, even though Allen may have a higher ceiling. But then again, Elliott has pretty much matched that ceiling this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the crazy thing is there something about I don't know what it is exactly that he does, but I mean, when you lead the league in save percentage, crud, 2-on-1. Never mind. When you lead the league on save percentage and goals against average, and you've done that over a 3-year period in the top 5 in the league, you're just simply doing way too many things right. So I know for myself, even I watch Allen, I think people say he's more athletic or whatever, and they might say different things, but how you get from point A to point B, regardless of how you get there, if you get the job done and you're one of the best in the league statistically, then I guess you just have to, you just have to give him all the props you can give him.
Yeah, it goes back to Elliott's the guy. I mean, I wasn't rooting for Allen to get hurt by any means, but the fact that he is being reevaluated after the season now kind of solidifies Elliott in that role. That I'm glad, because it kind of forces Hitch to start Elliott. When Hitch made that comment about possibly doing a rotation in the playoffs, I didn't want to do that. So I'm glad that Elliott should be the guy now going forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be nice. It'll sure be exciting. It'll be exciting. But we need some wins. I'm going to go into a 1 month, depression. Usually it just takes me about 2 or 3 beautiful spring days, and I watch a Cardinal game and I'm done with it. But I'm gonna have to go admit myself into the hospital if they get skunked by Chicago or something, or if we win the first 2 and lose the next 4. I'm gonna be like Groundhog's Day. Nuts.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. If we win the first 2, I will not feel confident. I mean, I'm not going to feel like the series is over like it would against most teams.
Right.
Because of what happened a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and then we always have to keep, I know we sound like a broken record here, but this year is different from the last 3, and yet in that there's Fabry, there's Parayko, there's a stronger team, there's a better Tarasenko, and hopefully there's a 110% healthy team, more or less, going into the playoffs. I don't care if we don't see Powerby. I don't care if we see Yaskin. I don't care if we see Ott. And I hope we don't see Ott, matter of fact. But gosh, I know he's going to be back on the top line.
No, he's out for at least 2 more weeks, I think.
At least 2?
Mm-hmm.
He's got colitis.
Mm-hmm.
So colitis for at least 2 weeks.
So that's the diarrhea thing they were talking about.
It's a intestinal wall issue. It's a severe pain, constant pain. Oh. So it's and diarrhea maybe come with it. I don't know, but it's
sounds like what I got.
You said everything is like you've got. All right, one of them. I know you said you had to get going, Kurt.
Yep, I gotta go. So
we'll go ahead and let you go. Thanks a lot for coming on here.
Yeah, we can't end this show on colitis.
We'll try to return the favor sometime. We'll get on your show pretty soon.
Cool, sounds good. Yeah, I'll anytime.
All right, great. Well, thanks a lot, Kurt.
Okay, see you later, Kurt.
All right, enjoy the game.
Go Blues.
Yeah,
go Blues.
Go Blues. Bye.
Well, that's going to be a good one.